was ink.
Crisco.
Crisco.
Is
Nice
it worth her
hard.
time to just run paper, not good paper through
Nope.
the... No.
Nope, there's so much ink on this press that
Okay.
we will be here for days. Once you have your Crisco on the press, just turn it on. This grease is going to start breaking down the grease of the ink. While that's running, you can grab yourself, sorry Dennis, grab yourself a paper towel or lint-free rag and a little bit of mineral spirits. And just dab everything with a little bit of spirits, being careful not to get your paper towel stuck in the press
Or your fingers.
or your fingers. Let the mineral spirits do the work for you. You don't need to stress out about that. It will break it down. And then with a clean side of your same paper towel, dab up any of the excess ink. The wood type and lead type should come very clean because they are super slick surfaces. Your linoleum block next week will probably stay stained depending on the color of ink you've printed, but the excess ink should always come off your blocks. Again, while that's still rolling, the longer that rolls, the easier it will be to clean. Go ahead and pull your press apart, and I'm going to give each of you your type pieces. Kim. Dennis, I'll leave yours there. Aaron. Frank. Lori.
Thank you.
So if there's stuff left on it right now, we would use just a paper towel?
Just a paper towel. There should be still enough mineral spirits on it that it shouldn't worry about it. Again, all while this is still running, you would take everything off the press bed and put it away. I'm not going to make you sit through that. I'm just going to pull this to the side.
You don't worry about ink being on the furniture pieces.
No, you would. You want to get
Okay.
everything clean. I don't know why I'm taking my gloves off. You want to get everything clean so that the next person who uses it doesn't have to worry about wet ink on their hands while they're setting up their press.
So you have to clean every piece of wood.
Every piece of wood that had ink on it gets cleaned. All of the type, every little bit of furniture, everything gets wiped down.
Just as an estimate, what does it, in time, how long does it take?
To clean, your first time it'll take about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Once you get more used to it, I can clean this press in about 5. I'm going slow because I want you all to learn. But if there's ink on anything, again, if it was your press, I don't care how clean it is, but because this is a community press that everyone gets a chance to use, there's no reason why your mess should stay on the press for someone else to clean before they have to do their next printing. The next step on this, now that this is thoroughly coated and in reality the press bed is empty, go ahead and turn off the press, and now we're going to clean the 5 rollers top to bottom. So we're going to flip this up and flip this up. Always brace these rollers with your hand. These are metal. If they fall on your hand, it is going to hurt something fierce. And just wipe. Clean. Your first run through on the wiping is just to remove any excess ink. You will not get it thoroughly clean until you hit it with mineral spirits. We also need to degrease it because Crisco is not just going to wipe off. When you're doing this, I haven't changed paper towels from any of my other wiping. There's no reason to introduce piles and piles of paper towels to this. Just keep rotating your paper towel to find a clean spot. If you don't, you're just spreading the ink that's already on there into a new location and not actually cleaning anything. You'll also want to make note of any hard bits of ink skin that are stuck to the roller. If you didn't get them while you were printing, you can kind of see I have a bunch of black dots on this side of the roller. That's all hard ink skin. That all needs to come off. If you don't take it off and someone else prints after you and they don't take it off, and someone prints after them and they don't take it off, these rollers will very quickly deteriorate to garbage. Once you've done these first top 2 metal rollers, as clean as you can get them on this first run, again, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Do you have to clean the
Those are little spots
sides?
there? Is that what
Yep,
you're talking
all
about?
of these little
Little
spots,
okay.
that's all hard ink
Okay,
skin.
all right.
So you'll want to get those off. If you don't get it with the Crisco, it will definitely come off with the next run of mineral spirits.
Does the ink get to the sides like it does on a brayer?
Yes. I am now switching paper towels. Move down to your rubber rollers, which are these 2 in the middle here, the ones that actually travel the ink onto the press. If you have supervision or have done this numerous times, you can take these apart and it would be easier to clean them that way. They just lift out and you can sand them and clean them that way. I prefer to leave them in because it means I don't have to be blamed if they don't get back in correctly. I'm just going to wipe any excess ink off these.
And this just had the Crisco on it so
Yep.
far.
Has no chemical on it. I'm just using the power of that Crisco grease to break down all of the ink on, or most of the ink rather, off of these presses. Do the second one the same way. And then the third one. The third one, I'm going to always stand over you, unless you book the studio alone. Always stand over you when you are cleaning it, because you need to have the power on while you're cleaning it. And I would prefer you don't lose fingers. I'm going to turn the power on. I'm going to take a ball of paper towels in my hand so that I don't have any loose edges that could get stuck in any of the gears. And I'm going to use this piece of metal right here as my cleaning guide. My hand will never leave that piece of metal. I go down at once without rotating my paper towel. Then rotate, making sure I don't have any loose, scraggly edges.
So if for some reason your paper towel got sucked in there, would it just jam or would it be, where would it go?
This actually opens up into the cabinet here, so it would likely just land on the shelf in there. But if it gets on any of the sides, it could get stuck in the chain that runs these gears. It's just easier not to think about it. And if you keep, not to think about it, if you keep your hand braced against this, as if you're wiping this, but the palm of your hand is sitting on the roller, your paper towel likely won't get pulled underneath. Once this is about here, which is about how clean all of the other rollers on the press are, go ahead and switch to clean paper towels.
Do paper towels cause a lint buildup?
No, and realistically, we'd be working with lint-free towels. We just don't have that many of them at the moment. Or old t-shirts. Again, clean paper towel. A little bit of mineral spirits and wipe the press clean. Still pulling off a fair amount of ink. When you're cleaning this lower roller as well, don't hold your paper towel like this. Keep your hand flat, pressed against that metal bar and the roller, and you shouldn't ever lose the paper towel or your fingers, which is slightly more important than losing the paper towel. If it still looks a little tarnishy and you can see that there's a hard spot of ink there, you can take a little bit of spirits and just wipe one more time. When you book the studio alone, and I say when, not if, when you book the studio alone, I always think, again, because this is a community shop, the first thing you want to do before you put any of your type on the press or any ink on the press is wipe down all of the surfaces that someone may have left ink on to ensure that your surfaces for printing are completely clean. Especially if someone before you printed in black. Come on, I see you. I can get you. If someone before you printed in black and you are moving to yellow or to pink, any old black ink will travel into your new ink. Because you've just sprayed this with mineral spirits, you want to make sure that you wipe all of the surrounding areas down as well, so that that mineral spirits doesn't break down the grease on the press, the actual good mechanical grease on the press. Make sure everything is nice and clean. That press, or that roller rather, is clean. From here, you're making your way back up the rollers. It would make sense to bring this all the way back and work over there, but anything that drips off these is going to wind up on that roller that I just cleaned. So I like to work with it halfway down the press. I still have plenty of room to clean, but I don't have to worry about it dripping onto my already clean surfaces. Again, a little bit of mineral spirits on a paper towel. And I'm going to put a little on the two rubber rollers. And I'm going to wipe those clean. These two rollers, these two rubber rollers down here, used to be red. You will never get them back to red now that they've been stained with lots and lots of ink. But you want to get them as clean as possible so that when you take a clean finger and run it across the rollers, there is no ink that comes off of them. That includes the sides of these rubber rollers. I can show you those. That includes here, the sides of these rollers on both sides, the face of all of the rollers, and anywhere that I am touching with my greasy glove also gets clean. You don't want any of your residual ink to be all over someone else's work. And then work your way up to the next metal rollers. Again, being conscious that you want to get down, or get off rather, any of those hard bits of ink that have traveled throughout your printing process. Sides of these rollers, again, are going to pick up some ink either in the cleaning process or in the printing process. So you'll want to get all of that clean as well. Switch my towels. I know this seems like a lot of work when I'm standing next to you, helping you do it, I promise.
But you can see the
It is not
rainbow
that difficult.
caused by the oil.
The rainbow caused
Yeah,
by
the light is on the ends. You can see where there's still oil because there's a little bit of a rainbow. Which I don't think you see when you're close up.
Yeah, I can see it.
And when you see oil in a puddle.
The other surfaces you have to worry about cleaning. Look at how clean those just came. Other surfaces you have to worry about cleaning. Any knobs, here, 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 and here. This knob, your handle, because likely you took your inky glove and touched it. The power switch, the trip and print switch, and your table surface when that is cleared off. Once everything is clean, the press lives back here, metal rollers up, this lever disengaged up, and then you put the entire press to bed. The rubber rollers go under this light safe paper, and everything else goes under the plaid blanket. That keeps everything safe, clean, away from light, and away from dust.